right, so welcome to Madden NFL 27. You know what I'm saying? It's that deep dive right here. It's that deep dive. That welcome to Madden deep dive. All right. So breakdown of this. So we're gonna cover these in order too. Some of these are a little longer. So I'm gonna try and combine as many as I can, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be this one and then probably the gameplay. Yeah, that one's long as a mug. And then after that, it'll be probably franchise with superstar mode. And maybe even squeezing presentation in there. We'll see. We'll see how we feel, man. It's a lot of talking, bro. It's a lot of talking. There's a lot to go over. All right? So we're going to cover everything basically in order. Well, not everything, but we're going to cover what we do cover in order. So welcome deep dive. Then we'll do gameplay. Then we'll do franchise. Then we'll do superstar. We're skipping MUT. We'll do presentation. And then these don't have their own things. So there's release dates, platform availability. We already know this releases in August. Platforms, obviously all the next-gen consoles and PC, and then pre-order details, which we've already kind of covered in our CFB. So, without further ado, hello there, Madden fans. Welcome back to the Gridiron Notes, your source for all of the latest updates straight from the dev team. All right, they said they're kicking off the Madden season strong with lots of details to share with us. Today, they're going to give us some high-level features of what we can expect from Madden 27 and all of the different options they got lined up for us when we pre-order the game. All right? So they're talking about Caleb Williams. We're not going to watch the trailer. It launches worldwide on August 13th, right? That's before that is the original launch date. And then I believe the 11th is going to be the 3-day early access, and then I think the 7th is going to be, or maybe the 6th is going to be the 7-day access for the MVP Plus. So gameplay, authentic NFL physicality. Every snap is a battle for control. All new wide receiver DB interactions bring true NFL physicality to every route, with realistic hand fighting, jostling, and leverage that define separation and coverage. When tight 50-50 moments with timing-based catching and refined contested interactions, or take command in critical situations with improved short yardage mechanics and plays like the tush push that decide games when inches matter most. Bro, all right, so first off, we're going to talk a little bit about the wide receiver DB interactions, the jostling. From what they showed during the community event, right? It looks really good. It's like an answer to when your DBs would sometimes be slower than the wide receivers, and then you would either get cooked, or they would give your DB an unrealistic speed up animation. This seems to be their fix to that. This seems to be you kind of slow the wide receiver down without necessarily holding him, and you can kind of keep up with them for the most part, as long as they're not a crazy speed disparity. And then what else? The timing-based catching, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I actually like the sound of that. I know people are talking about cheaters and all that stuff. They're always gonna complain. I just don't think they really understand that, regardless of whether you green, quote unquote green. Well, there's so many different scenarios. You won't even always have a green. When you're throwing the ball to your receiver, if you're throwing in the double coverage, if he doesn't even have the ratings for that, bro, it's going to be all yellow to red. That's it. You know what I mean? And yellow, it goes based off the animations. Not the animations, but the ratings, right? And then you can green the catch, bro, but at the end of the day, if the DB swats the ball, you're not going to catch it, right? It ends up becoming completely red. So these complaints about, the Zens and all that stuff, it sounds like people just don't know what they're talking about. And then I'm also wondering, because I thought they might have said that, and obviously they'll get into that with the gameplay deep dive, but I thought they said that if you green it, it's still not necessarily guaranteed to always live through contact. But I mean, we'll see, right? But yeah, bro, just because you green it, if you green it and you're open, then yeah, obviously you should catch the ball. Now if you green it and it's on one it's over one defender. I mean, at that point, you just need to swat the ball, bro. Like, I don't, I don't know. I don't understand. Um, so people gotta stop being crybabies, dog. They be moaning and about the wrong things. Uh, Game planning and customize. Oh yeah, and then the tush push. People were crying about the tush push. Like, bro, the tush push when they showed it, it actually looks really nice. If you've got everything crowded, it's gonna be a lot harder. Like all the gaps. If you have all the gaps, with players over them, and you crowd the line of scrimmage, and you got like mad people in the box, it's gonna be really hard to get a tush push off. Game planning and customization. Own every decision before and after the snap. New game plan adjustments let you pre-configure how your team aligns and reacts, while streamlined pre-play controls put every adjustment at your fingertips. Smarter wide receiver logic keeps plays alive, while advanced coverage systems and plaster logic help defenses adapt in real time, giving you total control to execute your strategy on every snap. Dynamic weather. We talked about that in college football. It's also now in Madden, so that's good. They didn't. I don't think they had the dynamic time though in Madden last year, so hopefully they put that in there. Franchise, the all new persona engine. So the NFL athletes now have distinctive personalities that inform their motivations, how they think, how they respond. That way, franchise gets like a more reactive story to it. They have unique interactions and unpredictable outcomes that vary based on who around the league we're dealing with. New free agency frenzy as simultaneous bidding that can shift the competitive landscape of the entire league. And enhanced weekly recaps and halftime reports featuring Scott Hansen keeps us up to date. We got superstars, so now we can build the superstar legacy through the all new GOAT career journey, where they take into account performance, progression, and choice to shape our path from high school to the NFL Hall of Fame, which is going to connect also with college football. Deeper position-based skill trees drive on-field growth and unlock new career choices as your legacy score and status rises. Play new positions, which is tight end, edge, and safety, and navigate expanded sphere of influence decisions that keep every season dynamic as you chase greatness. Then there's Mutt. Not going to read that. Presentation, right? They got improved game day presentation captures, more of the traditions and spectacles that define the NFL. Signature stadium moments from the parachuters, which I believe they showcased in that reveal. Jacksonville's zip line and other stuff like that. Drone shows, new intros, seasonal broadcast packages for like holidays and stuff, which is good. And then, like they said, the weekly recaps and halftime reports. Context and dynamic league storytelling throughout the season. All right, and then they talk a little bit about the release dates. So 7-day early access, August 6th. I believe that is a Thursday. Or wait, am I tweaking? No, August 6th is a Sunday. Wait. Bro, am I tripping? Yeah, August 6th is a Thursday. Right? Yeah. No. Yeah, August 6th is a Thursday, okay? August 10th, which is a Monday, and then worldwide launch the 13th, Thursday. And then you got platform availability. This will be on Switch too. Will be on Switch too, along with everything else, PS5, Xbox Series, PC, and then the pre-order details and all that good stuff. Right? So we're gonna get out of this. And we're going to go into the gameplay deep dive. All right. So we got a long one here. So they said this is a special Gridiron Notes deep dive. Gameplay is at the heart of Madden. This year's updates touch every phase of the game, from passing and coverage to defensive adjustments, trench battles, player movement, abilities, weather, and coach mode. So they're basically saying, yeah, we're vets. We don't need a long pregame speech or nothing like that. We've been here before. We know how to do it. Let's get it. on the field from Saturday to Sunday. They said when they got into training camp. So basically, when they started, wait, is this the same thing from college football? Because it's the same when we got into training camp, which is pre-production phase. One thing became clear. Yeah, we already read that, right? Speed, space, tempo. One missing. Yep. They talk about the angles. They talk about the differences between the games and the levels between college and Madden. Playbooks. Want Madden to feel like Madden and college to feel like college from a playbook standpoint. Coverage. Differentiating the two. AI play. Trenches. Pursuit angles. Abilities. Home field advantage. So defense wins championships. Let's see. Everybody loves touchdowns, explosive big plays, and putting points on the board, but our football fans were also asking for more on the defensive side of the ball. This sounds like midpoints. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, looking for work. Yeah, literally most of this is going to be everything that we already covered in that first college one. So if you are interested and you want to see the reaction, go to the first college huddle campus deep dive that I did. It'll have all this in there. Roll coverage. Yep, we talked about that. We talked about man coverage, match coverage checks, double teams, matchup tools, defensive playbooks. We talked about that. Yeah, I believe this is copy and paste. Wide receiver DB battles, which, I mean, it applies for both games, so it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's not like it really matters. Wide receiver DB jostle, built from game day, short yardage, QB sneak meter, more control up front. Yep. DNA, coach DNA. ML, ball carrier pathing. I still don't know what ML is. What is is that Madden League? I don't even know what ML ball carrier pathing is. Maybe it should be AI. Oh, machine learning. I'm tweaking. Okay. Hot and cold in Madden. Coach chat for college. Yeah. So this was copy paste for the, let's see, dynamic weather. Still doesn't say whether there's time in Madden. Hopefully they put that in there. The abilities, the way that they stack. The hot and cold system with the abilities, coach mode, play call subs, more control at the catch point. Yeah. Let's see. Coverage can shrink that window. Catch difficulty can shrink that window. Sideline catches, all that stuff. That's where ratings come back into play. Tackling improvements, the new tackle sticks. There's up, down, left, right. Talked about that. We talked about formation shifts. I believe we talked about all this. Just want to make sure that custom adjustments. Yep. Yep. Time to get back on the field. Yeah. Winners win. Yeah. So we seen all that already. So that makes it a little easier for us. I might even be able to get through the rest of these in one video. Franchise deep dive. Probably not, but we'll see. I'll probably combine these two, or just do this one and the franchise. So a living league, right? We got lead designer Josh Lumen here talking about it. So 26 was a exciting year when it came to franchise mode. The additions of coach abilities, play sheets, and all that good stuff, wear and tear, that was actually, that was really good. I agree. They wanted to push the envelope, right? Changing how the league feels week in and week out, season after season. They've been listening to us. And their goal was to say we could never go back and play last year's franchise mode after playing what they're delivering this year. So they got the Persona engine, right? And so at the heart of this year's franchise mode overhaul was a simple idea. Your experience should feel unpredictable and human, just like we experience in the NFL and the real life every day. So they built the Persona engine. Biggest change to player behavior negotiations, weekly management, news, and free agency they've ever made. So players in a sports game finally feel human, and it's all cohesively designed to work together. They wanted stars who could get frustrated, negotiations that could twist and turn, news that actually matters, weekly decisions that feel urgent, teams that evolve, and a league that feels like it has its own momentum. Players should feel human. They should care about their role, their future, their contract, their team, and their chances at winning. They should respond in a very personal way. So every player has unique persona DNA that determines their mindset, career focus, motivation, reaction, and long-term behavior. So now all the players don't behave the same way like they used to, right? When they happily wait for the same contract window in week 3 of the regular season. A star who feels underpaid will react differently than a veteran chasing a ring. A young player on a losing team is going to see things differently than a franchise quarterback on a contender. There's over 65 different types of DNA, and players can even evolve as time goes on by earning temporary persona DNA. And no, this is not just more scenarios or storylines layered on top. Most of the old scripted scenarios are gone. Okay, that's interesting. The persona engine is a behavioral foundation that powers players' decisions organically based on context and each player's persona DNA. It's what finally makes it possible to deliver the features the community has been asking for years, or asking about for years. And it's all driven by players who actually think about their own careers. So they say that this is the biggest change franchise mode has ever seen. It's inspired by real life. They say your franchise can possibly open with meaningful player management decisions already waiting for you in week 1. A star player may hold out. If you can't solve the issue, he may demand a trade. That in week 1 and 2 is crazy. That's fire. That would be crazy to come into. That situation is not hidden away deep inside a sub menu. It's going to show up clearly. Situations will demand your attention, and it becomes part of your job to handle them. That's a huge part of why franchise feels different this year. The stories are no longer something you have to imagine happening behind the scenes. They arrive, they escalate, and they ask you to respond. All right. Player holdouts. So they're proud to deliver more wishlist items than we've ever dreamed of, right? So player holdouts. Players can now hold out. If a star feels unhappy, he can refuse to participate until his issues addressed. Holdouts are driven by the persona engine and basically team success and contract status and all that other stuff. You can negotiate. You can have a conversation to try and shift their mindset. You can wait it out, see if they come around, or you can explore a trade. You can handle it basically however you want, and then the outcome can ripple across your roster and the rest of the league. There's player trade demands, and so when a player has decided the relationship is no longer working and he wants out, he's going to make that known. Trade demands are driven by that same system of persona DNA and create the kind of high-profile roster drama that defines real NFL off seasons, like A.J. Brown. When a star wants out, it hits the news. Other teams come calling, and suddenly you're in a position where you have to decide how to handle it. Players across the league can create these moments as well, which keeps the entire NFL feeling dynamic and unpredictable. What you do creates ripples, so make sure the decisions you make are what you really want. Just as importantly, you're not limited to just watching this play out. If a player's unhappy, you can talk to him. You can try to shift his mindset. And depending on who he is and how compelling your case is, you may be able to repair the relationship and change what happens next. That's a key part of what makes the persona engine special. It's not only creating more drama, it's creating more interactive player management. They wanted us to feel like we're truly leading an NFL team, making every important decision on and off the field. So now they got emergent actions, a better weekly flow. So managing the team should feel like important decision-making, not maintenance. So emergent actions replace the old weekly flow from Madden with the focus on interaction and prioritization. They're not notifications or spam. They're not unorganized clutter. Every emergent action asks you to make a real decision. A player wants to talk about his role. A contract situation is heating up. A roster question needs an answer before game day. Um, these surface based on what is actually happened. So these surface based on what is actually happening in your league that week. They're designed to bring the most important things you need to care about every week to you. Damn, bro, is it just me, or does it almost feel like there's no like should there be punctuation here? Emergent actions are designed to bring the most important things you need to care about every week to you, and you know what I mean. Like maybe there's be a comma there to you, and transform weekly management from a chore into meaningful decision making. Like that damn near feels like a run-on sentence. Why is that so hard to say? Sheesh. This is one of the clearest examples of the Persona engine changing the actual shape of the franchise. A player issue does not live in some disconnected screen and becomes part of your week, just like weekly strategy became a meaningful part of your week in NFL 26 Madden. Delegate with more confidence. You can also delegate actions to your staff. When you do, you will see exactly what your staff plans to do before you confirm. No guesswork. You know the plan before you hand it off, and because CPU teams use the same system, the rest of the league is handling its own emergent situations at the same time. You've got a brand new center for managing your roster as well. You can see team information at a glance, including your top players' persona mindsets and focuses. Within the roster management center, you can access everything you need to manage and improve your team, including your roster, depth chart, and lineup, free agency scouting, and trades. The roster spreadsheets and player card have been refreshed to provide you with more information at a glance, including every player's persona, DNA, and mindset. Okay. So, brand new center for managing our roster. So we can see pretty much everything. Their focuses, their mindsets. And then we can access literally almost everything. Yeah, literally everything. Trades, free agency scouting. News that actually feels like news. If franchise is going to feel alive, the league around you has to be visible. That's why the franchise news system is getting a complete rebuild. Okay, I like the sound of this. A persistent news ticker now runs across every screen, so you never miss what's happening around the league. Major stories trigger breaking news alerts with picture-in-picture presentation and Scott Hansen audio. Ooh, that might be kind of fire. And a dedicated news center screen is accessible from anywhere in franchise. Ooh, okay. Depth chart, season stats. The news center is always one button away. You'll never have to hunt for it. Okay. Oh, okay. So you probably press like R3 to go into the news center, or like the touchpad or stuff like that. The news center includes filters so you can narrow down to just your team, just your multi-user league, specific story types like trades or draft coverage, or league-wide news. Total control over what you're seeing. Breaking news, rumor, and buzz. So breaking news now pops up through a brand new notification system that is impossible to miss. Interesting. Rumors surface in a way that keeps franchise connected to what is happening beyond your team. This will include real evolving stories around questions like which players are unhappy with their contract, tired of losing, or would be willing to restructure their contracts to help the team with cap room. So the news isn't decorative. It's all tied to the Persona engine. It's grounded in actual league behavior. It's real to our league and evolving with us as we continue to make decisions. So when your buddy in your league is about to have his star receiver demand a trade, you will be the first to know. Draft ticker. Draft night should feel like a high-intense celebration. As picks happen around the league, a new draft ticker scrolls them through in real time, so you stay connected to the full draft as it unfolds. And no more backing out to check what happened. Several picks go, ooh, I like that. When your division rival snags the player you had your eye on, you will know immediately. That's good. Every pick's visible, and you always know what the rest of the league is doing while you manage your own board. That's good. I like that. That's a good change. Interactive contract negotiations. All right. We're giving you a brand new way to negotiate contracts in Madden 27. We completely rebuilt the negotiation experience around a new multi-session minigame designed to make you feel like you're part of an actual back-and-forth negotiation with a real person. Not sliding numbers around the screen, not bank software. We're making a video game. And negotiations should be one of the most fun parts of roster building. And for those of you that have taken advantage of players over the years by signing them to the smallest one-year deals possible, The times have changed, my friend. You've got to be clever to negotiate a great deal. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't do that, but I would definitely always the guy that signed them the 7-year deals. Them boys were getting crazy 7-year contracts. Like, I would make sure they don't develop before I gotta re-sign them, and then I re-sign them a 7-year deal, and then focus on developing them. All right. Negotiations now include patience meters, interest building mechanics, and curveball moments that can shift the direction of a negotiation. Because the Persona engine drives every negotiation, each one plays out differently. Negotiating with Tyreek Hill should feel completely different than negotiating with Saquon Barkley, and now it does. A great example of this would be negotiations might start with salary demands, then shift toward guarantees, contract length, or team role expectations depending on the player's personality. Your choices affect patience and interest throughout the negotiation. If patience drops to 0, the session ends. But if you build interest to 100, you can close the deal and sign the player. Some players will test your patience. Some will surprise you. Some will throw their own wildcard asks at you and take the negotiation in a direction you didn't see coming. Now you're at the mercy of each player and how they respond and react to the negotiation. And no, this isn't a scene you have to sit through for 5 minutes to make one choice. It's a brand new minigame built in a slick new interface that also displays player ratings, persona DNA, and stats. You don't need to back out of the screen to get to know the player you're negotiating with. So, finally, contract talks have personality, tension, and feel alive. All right. Contracts. So, we've heard your feedback about contracts, and we want franchise mode to reflect reality much more closely. So that means a full contract overhaul is in order. Uh-oh. Guaranteed contracts, void years, contract incentives, no trade clauses, custom contract structures, longer street free agent deals. And one of the most requested wishlist items, players can now negotiate outside of the final contract year. That last one is the biggest change. If a player evaluates a situation and decides he deserves a new deal with 2 years left on his contract, the Persona engine can drive that conversation. He's going to come to you about it. This is not some menu you click into. This is a player who thought about his career and decided he wants more. That alone changes the way roster management works across every phase of a season. Roster building should not feel like it is stuck in the 1970s. The NFL does not operate like that anymore, and neither should franchise mode. If you want to be aggressive with guarantees, you can. If you want to prioritize flexibility, you can. If you want contracts to look more like the deals we see in the real NFL, Madden 27 gets much closer to that world. You now have the power to shape these contracts the way you want. But you've got to be a great negotiator to pull it off, because players aren't going to just blindly accept your offer anymore. So, tags, tenders, real off-season tools. So, every type of franchise tag and transition tag is now in the game. Exclusive locks a player to your team. Non-exclusive allows other teams to make an offer, but you receive 2 first-round picks as compensation. The transition tag gives you the right to match any offer. Each one works differently, carries different salary implications, and gives the tag player different rights. That's fire. Restricted free agents. Restricted free agency now includes every tier of RFA tender with proper draft pick compensation. First, second, original round, and right of first refusal tenders are all available. These give you the same tools real front offices use to protect young talent while managing cap space. This also creates more interesting decisions for rival teams. Do you sign that restricted free agent knowing you will lose a first round pick? Or do you move on? These are exactly the kinds of decisions that make offseason roster building feel deeper and more strategic. All right. So they're saying free agency should feel competitive and urgent. So they want that energy that of, the league scrambling to sign a game-changing player. in franchise mode. Free Agent Frenzy is a new live off-season event where all 32 teams compete to sign the best available players across a compressed 12-hour window. Think of it as the first 12 hours right when free agency opens. You advance hour by hour, deciding when to be aggressive and when to hold back. Player info, including like stats and ratings and all that, are available right on the live event screen, so you can make informed decisions without having to look things up. Okay. So the result is an offseason that feels like less like processing transactions and more like a live market with serious competition. Every league member is in it at the same time, and every discussion has consequences. Every decision has consequences. My bad. Chase, we're on like hour 6 of talking, bro. We have also expanded draft classes to generate undrafted rookie free agents. Hey, after the draft wraps up, a new pool of undrafted prospects becomes available through a dedicated signing window, creating a second free agent frenzy event right after the draft. Hell yeah. Every team gets a chance to compete for overlooked talent. Whether you missed on a position in the draft or see a developmental guy who fits your scheme, this window gives you another shot to find that diamond in the rough and solidify your roster heading into the preseason. Super Sim Rebalance. You're also making major improvements to Super Sim. Oh my gosh, thank you. Sheesh. I don't think we'll be using it because of coach mode, but if we do, it got touched up, so that's good. One of the biggest pieces of feedback we heard from you is that playbooks have had too much influence on sim outcomes. When certain schemes become overly powerful, teams start performing in ways that do not match their actual personnel or ratings. We needed to address that. Super Sim has been fully retuned to reduce volatility and put more weight back on ratings and roster quality. The best rosters should produce the best results. Your roster decisions should be the biggest factor in how your team performs, not your playbook selection. Teams adapt with their roster. Hell yeah. So, when Travis Kelce leaves the Chiefs, they won't spend the next 10 years throwing their tight end like he's still there. And you'll get asked if you want to do this, but you know what's even cooler? CPU teams do it too. All powered by the Persona engine. So basically saying that, if a team moves on from a quarterback who defined their offensive identity, like Lamar Jackson, and drafts a new QB with a completely different style, the team adjusts how they play. Real coach mode. Not every franchise player wants to control every snap. Some of you want to be the strategist, the play caller who watches their plan come together from the sideline. Coach mode gives you that experience, right? You can call the plays, manage the roster, handle emergent actions, let your players execute on the field. And that'll be in the Madden 27 gameplay deep dive. Real coordinators. Your coaching staff's got a lot more real. Coaching staff and franchise now include real NFL coordinators. So offensive and defensive coordinators are no longer generic stand-ins, but real people with defined identities, adding a layer of authenticity to staff management that's been requested for a long time. This connects directly to coaching staff progression and turnover. When a coordinator gets hired away for a head coaching job, you feel it. When you bring in someone new, it can shift your team identity. College coach archetype. Your coaching career no longer has to end at the college level. The college coach archetype knows that you play dynasty mode this year. Wait, what? So the college coach archetype knows that you play dynasty mode this year in college and will unlock a special coach archetype when you start your career in a franchise that includes special coach abilities and play sheets that you could not unlock with any other coach archetype in franchise mode. The connection between CFB and Madden is something the community has been vocal about, and this is a major first step toward making that crossover feel seamless. That's fire. That's fire. Okay. So I wonder if that means it'll probably be, because they have one for player development. I wonder if this is gonna be like that on, like multiplied. Because if it's just college, or maybe, I don't know, that's where, okay, the play sheets too. The play sheets could give you more of like a college, more college plays. That's interesting. So, all pre-orders get 500 franchise points when starting up a new franchise. Okay. But what about? I don't see anything about getting more through the MVP plus. So it's like 500 for everybody, and then obviously it can be enabled or disabled. Um, and the college coach archetype can also do the same thing too, be enabled or disabled. Hmm. Dynamic weather. Um, yeah, we know about the dynamic weather, right? They can just shift. Uh, Improved wear and tear. This year they're making it smarter and more impactful. The decisions you make about workload, rest, and usage now carry more authentic consequences across a full season. A workhorse running back who never gets a breather is going to feel it down the stretch. Managing your stars through a playoff push requires actual strategy. This ties directly into the weekly decision-making philosophy across franchise this year. Wear and tear is not just a background system anymore. It's something you actively plan around. Creative coach updates. Options for coach customization have been updated and expanded, with new gear and the ability to equip and remove hats, visors, and headsets. Hell yeah. Smarter CPU trade logic. Trades have been expanded under the hood to create a more authentic environment and franchise. Teams are now more active around key points of the season, taking into account their current standings and how aggressive they'll look to improve or begin the rebuilding process. When they do execute a trade, a greater emphasis on immediate impact as well as the money they'll have to invest in their newly acquired asset will be a critical consideration. These intelligent decisions do not stop at the trade deadline. During the offseason, CPU teams will now trade exactly as you see on the biggest stage, the NFL draft. The prospects available will determine whether a team aggressively moves up for that perfect fit or opts to find future value when the board didn't work out in their favor. Jeez, I'm about to take a break in a second. Boy, I'm starting to sound like that kid in class that can't read. Across all aspects of a season and all assets available for team building, franchise will now see the truest to life version of trading in the NFL. Tiered player abilities. It's basically like badges, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. This year, there's a new dynamic element to player abilities and gameplay, tiered abilities. In franchise, these tiered abilities are tied to player progression. Players will enter the league with ability tiers based on their real-life performance, but as they progress and improve throughout the seasons, their abilities will improve with them. Players' abilities upgrade based on relevant ratings, allowing players to access higher tier abilities that reflect their skills and specialties. My thing is, right, does this mean that there are less abilities, like a lot less abilities overall? Like, I wonder if they added any new abilities. Because the way they set up the tiered abilities, it was more so like, and I'm just making this one up out of the blue because I can't necessarily remember exactly what, the example was, but like, let's say Gunslinger, right? Bronze Gunslinger gave you, I don't know, like quicker passes under pressure, right? Faster animation under pressure. And then Silver was when you started to unlock just faster throwing animations in general, right? And then Gold would just be making the ball actually go faster. I'm forgetting the word. It's on the tip of my tongue, but off the heezy, I can't really think of it right now. Right? So those are like 3 different abilities all in one. That's like Quick Draw, Gunslinger, and then the secondary part of Gunslinger, which is just making the ball come out of your hands faster, like more explosive. But what's the word? Like, I know the word, but I'm blanking on it right now. But yeah, that's my question. Finally, a cohesive, connected franchise mode. Is your mind blown yet? I wish I could see the grin on your face right now. A big part of what makes this year different is not just the size of the feature list, it's the way the features connect. So that was one of their biggest goals for a franchise in Madden 27. Last year, they delivered a major update. We gave them feedback. They heard it. This year, they wanted to do more than just add features. They wanted everything to feel integrated. So that's good. Hell yeah. That's good works right there. That's good works. All right. We'll do another one. Actually, we might even finish both of them. Superstar deep dive, huh? Okay. So we got your superstar journey, continuing your journey from college football, new superstar progression, new superstar HUD, Sphere of Influence 2.0, chase football immortality, live service, and see you on the gridiron. All right. Today we are excited to deep dive into superstar and how your journey from being a rookie to a legend will evolve with the GOAT tracker and brand new skill trees which will change the way you play. Your superstar journey. From the moment you enter the league to the day you decide to retire, every decision, performance, and milestone shapes your path toward football immortality. Build your legacy. Earn influence across your organization. Fight through adversity and chase your place among the greatest players to ever step onto the field. At the end of it all, see if you did enough to impress the voters and earn your place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So let's see. Road to Glory import. Players can once again import their Road to Glory athlete from CFB 27 directly in the superstar mode and continue building their football legacy at a professional level. All right. This year, more of the things you did in college will make an appearance in Madden. This includes references to your accomplishments. Hell yeah. On the field and some of the decisions you made off of it. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. NFL draft and career beginnings. Your draft position is directly influenced by your Road to Glory draft score, helping shape how NFL teams evaluate your superstar as you enter the league. Players who create a brand new superstar will also have multiple starting points available during the draft process, allowing for different types of NFL journeys and expectations as your career begins. All right. So, new progression. Superstar progression has been redesigned to deliver more impactful player growth, more meaningful choices, and greater control over how your superstar develops over the course of a career. This year introduces an all-new progression structure built around 5 distinct skill categories: core, mental, physical, specialty, and X factor. Each category directly impacts gameplay and allows players to define how their superstar performs on the field. Skill trees will now branch off instead of only working in a linear fashion. This unlocks a new level of choice and customization that Superstar has never seen before. Abilities are also much more powerful in Madden and offer game-changing advantages. Develop your mental abilities as a quarterback to improve your awareness and detect incoming pressure before the snap, resulting in new visual alerts that show you where the pressure is coming from. Build elite physical tools as a wide receiver and unlock a second gear of speed that kicks in once you have passed the final line of defense. These are just a couple examples. Every position will have more ability options than ever before. The abilities and upgrades you earn are now more visible and impactful during your gameplay. As your superstar grows, new mechanics, visuals, and gameplay advantage will continuously evolve the way you play on the field. Cap breakers. This year, Madden introduces cap breakers, allowing players to go beyond traditional archetype limitations and create truly unique superstars capable of breaking outside the standard boundaries of their position. The rarest of upgrade points, these can only be earned by advancing your legacy in the GOAT journey or accomplishing incredible feats. Every time you spin a cap breaker, you'll be pushing the limits of your archetype and expanding your possibilities on the field. Applying your cap breakers wisely can even bring new abilities into the fold, opening a whole vector of power for your position. The meta in Madden is always changing, but now you can change along with it. They also added tight end, edge rusher, free safety, same thing in CFB. Whether you dominate in the trenches, terrorize quarterbacks off the edge, or become the next legendary playmaker in the secondary, Madden 27 gives players more ways than ever to create their NFL story. Each position has a unique set of skills, abilities, and X factors. There will be exclusive combinations of gameplay mechanics and on-the-field power at every position. We're especially excited about tight end, as it introduces new blocking mechanics that have never been a focus of Superstar in the past. Sheesh. That sounds dope. Okay. The new Superstar HUD. So this year there's an all-new Superstar HUD, giving players expanded on-field feedback and more gameplay info during every moment of the game. Abilities now visually activate during gameplay, making it easier to understand when your superstar traits and abilities are influencing a play. So I'm assuming that it's just going to show you the little thingy on the bottom of your feet like it does in college football. Activated abilities dynamically appear beneath the player grading widget. Oh, okay. So players always know when their superstar is taking over the game. The upgraded HUD also brings more information directly to the play call screen. Tracked objectives, wear and tear updates, game day beat conditions, sphere of influence updates, ability status information. No more pausing the game to access information or guessing how close you are to meeting a quest goal. The HUD is designed to bring information directly to you along with an element of control. There's improved player grading to place a greater focus on individual responsibility and performance. So now our superstars will now be evaluated more fairly based on our own execution on the field rather than being overly impacted by mistakes made elsewhere by teammates. That's good, yeah. Sphere of Influence 2.0. So it says we're going to need all the help we can get to make it to the Hall of Fame. Luckily, we'll have the chance to develop key relationships both on and off the field. Sphere of Influence, it returns in Madden 27 with expanded depth, graded consequences, and more control over our NFL future than ever before. As our superstar grows into one of the faces of the league, we'll unlock all new superstar powers that allow us to influence the direction of our organization and take full control over our careers. If we earn enough influence and our superstars can become some of the most powerful voices in the entire organization, this is the first time in the history of superstar mode that we'll be able to influence our team's roster. So there's superstar powers. You can influence free agency decisions, demand trades, trade teammates, and retire on our own terms. Right? So the bigger our superstar becomes, the more clout we'll have within the organization. There's composure through Sphere of Influence. So our relationships with teammates will now grant much more meaningful rewards, composure boosts. Having a good rapport with a teammate can help them get on a hot streak faster or even start the game on one. This powerful metagame will allow you to maximize the connection we have with teammates and hopefully incentivize us to get more players involved. But on the flip side, a poor relationship with a teammate can result in negative composure. This means they'll go cold faster or potentially even start on a cold streak, play poorly, and our problems may compound as we find our teammates getting ice cold, snowflake, Iceman season breezy. Damn. All right, so we got to check our SOI relationships with all of our teammates between games to make sure we're striking the perfect balance. Damn near sounds like Sims, boy. Make sure you check your relationships, dog. Stardom has consequences. All right? But cold teammates are not the only consequence in Madden 27. Performance matters more than ever this year, and organizations will now respond to the way we perform on the field. Struggle to meet expectations, we might lose our starting role, get benched, get traded, or even get cut entirely. For the first time, Superstar Mode introduces real career consequences that challenge players to earn their place week after week. Players who get cut will even have the opportunity to fight their way back from the practice squad and reclaim their NFL career. That's crazy. Yeah, because you were never able to get like cut entirely and be the worst ever, but you always had a job. Chase football immortality. All right, so the all-new GOAT journey gives Superstar Mode a true endgame by tracking our rise from rookie prospect to NFL veteran. All right, our accomplishments, awards, performances, and milestones all contribute toward our GOAT scores as we climb the ranks among the football's all-time greats. We'll constantly see where our superstar stands in the GOAT convo and how our careers compare against both current and legendary NFL players. There are three pillars in the GOAT journey: skill, legacy, popularity. Right, evolving our game and maximizing our abilities on the field. Accomplishments that we earn, rare feats we pull off, trophies we collect, and expanding our brand to become an undeniable household name. Each of these pillars has unique quests to help guide us and ensure we maintain a balance between all three. We can track our scores and leverage the relationships we have off the field to help us advance in each category, but the GOAT journey is not just for us. Superstar Mode takes a social twist by introducing the GOAT leaderboard. You can compare your GOAT score against the broader superstar community and see how you stack up against other superstars at our position. Sheesh, okay. So there's a global leaderboard. Now all they need to do is make superstar mode online friendly, right? You should be able to opt in and like play an online superstar game against like if you're a receiver, you can go up against maybe like another receiver or even a defensive back or something like that, you know. Yeah, that'd be dope. As in the real NFL, the GOAT journey is a limitless measurement of our careers. We're here to defy the odds. Hall of Fame voting. Players can now choose when to retire and officially close out their NFL career. Once you step away from the game, your career enters a new Hall of Fame voting experience where your accomplishments will determine whether you've done enough to earn a gold jacket. The committee will consider everything we've accomplished in our careers as we wait for the verdict in real time. Okay. If you're fortunate enough to make it into the Hall of Fame, you'll be fitted with a gold jacket and have the opportunity to say a few words in Canton. You might want to screenshot this experience because only a small percentage of players will ever get to see it. Really? What does that mean? Does that mean something? You think? I wonder. Does that mean like? Nah, there's no way. Because I would argue that most players that play Superstar will see that. Or maybe that's their way of saying that. I don't know. Live service that keeps careers moving. All right, Superstar mode will change dynamically through the NFL season with new ways to grow players, earn rewards, and experience fresh gameplay challenges all year long. Ooh. The return of 3v3 Showdown. Okay. So they said this will be by far the most packed event calendar in Superstar history. So fresh content on a weekly basis will come, like new gameplay mechanics, real-world theme events, seasonal gameplay twists, expanded solo experiences, new squad-based experiences, exclusive power rewards. The same principle lends itself to the new progression system, where for the first time ever, skills and abilities will be part of the live service offering. So new skill trees, abilities, gameplay mechanics, additional progression paths, and sphere of influence characters. Damn. So all of those will come as updates. These updates bring a new aspect to skills progression, turning it into a living system that changes as rapidly as the NFL season. And that's pretty much it for this, man. They want to see us out there on that gridiron. And we finally got this left. And that's going to be presentation and authenticity deep dive. And we're going to get into that right now. We're not saving anything for any other videos. So, bringing NFL Sundays to life. This is going to be the presentation and art team talking about the presentation, sights and sounds, right? So when people talk about authenticity in Madden, certain things come to mind. The teams, players, stadiums, uniforms, and of course what you see on TV, right? The broadcast package. So I'm saying those things matter to us, and how we feel about them especially matters. But that feeling we all enjoy doesn't just come from a list of things we expect. The broadcast experience is something we're familiar with. It's part of your overall experience. Outside of the team you're rooting for winning, it's a way of embracing the experience from wherever you are, right? So basically, the way the weather shifts, the mood, traditions that make one stadium feel completely different from another, like halftime updates, those are just some of the things that shaped their work on this year's iteration of Madden. Their focus was about making Madden feel more alive and current and more specific to the moment that we're in. The vision came together across a few major areas. Broadcast presentation, pregame and halftime storytelling. I like the sound of that. Team traditions and stadium identity. Seasonal and calendar-based authenticity. Cameras and visual immersion. Motion, emotion, and weather. Deeper personalization and Superstar and beyond. So they got a dynamic broadcast package. Dynamic broadcast packages. So they basically kept building out their broadcast packages so that it feels more responsive to the calendar. We saw that a little bit last year with the Thanksgiving one with John Madden. So they have seasonal ones, seasonal broadcast variations. So they got one for Halloween, Thanksgiving, the exclusive turducken celebration, Christmas, Each seasonal broadcast package will include the following: a theme song, custom commentary, game intro, graphics score bug, end quarter banner, logo wipe, replay wipe. And then they'll appear in Play Now, Online Head-to-Head, and MUT based on the real-world calendar. And then they'll appear in Franchise and Superstar based on the in-game virtual calendar. That way you can feel it no matter where you play. Broadcast details that add texture. They continued expanding their storytelling systems through updated overlays, banners, and commentary support that basically help the broadcast feel more informed and alive and aware of like what's going on. They're not trying to make everything out to a spectacle, but they're trying to make the overall package feel more polished and intentional. They've continued to invest in drive starters because they are one of the best places to build narrative naturally during a game. Drive starters now include replays to expand storytelling and help key moments carry forward into the next possession. This gives the game more continuity and allows the broadcast to feel like it is following the same thread the player is. They're also supporting new story types through banners and commentary, including examples like possession summary, upcoming games. That's dope. Hopefully they end up adding like what they did the previous season and maybe like games that they've already won this year. If they maybe beat a team that was undefeated and then, week 14, they beat that undefeated team. So then week 15, they might bring that up, and say how they're playoff ready. That'd be kind of dope. So it's going to be cool to kind of see what they do with this. These features help reinforce the bigger picture around what is happening. Sometimes that means reminding you how a drive ended. Sometimes it means connecting your game to the rest of the week. Either way, it helps the broadcast feel more authentic to the sport we watch on Sundays. Right, so bringing the rest of the league into the game. A real broadcast rarely treats your game like it exists in a vacuum. We know that halftime reports are one of the best opportunities to widen the lens, give you context, and remind you that there's a whole story going on around you. That thinking shaped the halftime report for this year's Madden. This year, new halftime segments include impact players, playoff hunts, and improved first half coverage of the user's game. The goal is to make halftime feel more like a true checkpoint in the larger NFL day. You get a sense of where your game stands, what is happening elsewhere, and which performances are standing out across the league. Presentation in Madden is not only about the moments right before, during, and after a game. It is also about the connective tissue that makes the season feel alive week to week. And that's where the weekly recap comes in. This year, they've expanded the weekly recap with new segments that help players get a stronger pulse on the league around them, including injury reports, the MVP race, player of the week, playoff hunt, stat leaders, trade alert. Man, this is amazing. They're going crazy, bro. They're going crazy. They're finally, we're getting back to like that older Madden feel, bro, where they're doing halftime shows. They're doing weekly reports, bro, where bro's over here talking about people. Like, this is what I'm talking about. They also need to do draft stuff. These segments are designed to make the league feel more active and more dynamic as your season unfolds. You should be able to feel momentum building, storylines shifting, and major developments happening beyond your own team. We also worked on optimizing replay downloads in your online franchises. Our goal here was to make sure your favorite iconic moments can be seen more quickly by your friends and rivals. Some of the most important moments happen right before the first snap. The pregame is where the announcements of what kind of atmosphere you're going to experience. That's why this was a major focus for us this year. So they've got new primetime flows to build on the kind of atmosphere work players saw in moments like the Bills' primetime presentation last year. Primetime football is different. The pacing is different. Stakes feel higher, and the visuals should reflect that. So they wanted to give these primetime games their own identity so they feel bigger before kickoff even arrives. They've added drone shows, licensed songs tied directly to teams, new story support through banners and commentary, coach-specific and player-specific pregame storytelling, a team entering to a song that fans associate with that franchise hits differently. The feeling of watching that team walk out, music flowing through the stadium, fans screaming, nothing compares to that euphoric feeling. A pregame flow with stronger visual identity feels different too. These additions help us push deeper into the pageantry and personality of NFL teams without losing sight of the overall vision. So now more traditions, more authenticity. All right, so they've continued expanding support for real NFL traditions with a new group of team-specific moments. Bengals, Ruler of the Jungle with Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Broncos, Skyriders. Commanders, Raise Hell with RG3. Cowboys is Under the Star. Giants is Bell with Lawrence Taylor. Jaguars, Zipline, Jackson DeVille. Patriots, Enzo Militia. And Texas is Cannon with Toro. New faces on the field and on the broadcast. Licensed coordinators can now appear in the press box and on the sideline during cutscenes, helping the game better reflect how coaching staffs are part of the visual language of an NFL broadcast. Camera work is one of the most important pieces of presentation, even when players do not actively think about it. In Madden 27, they're introducing new cameras and camera angles to suit experience. There's unified player lock cameras. So they're a unified set of player lock gameplay cameras between college and Madden to help create a more seamless transition from road to glory and a superstar. That consistency matters for players moving between experiences. It helps the visual language feel familiar and makes the transition between the two games smoother. There's new pre-snap cameras, including field-specific angles based on the offensive field position. That means that the experience in that moment can match the importance of where the ball is, not just who has it. Coach mode camera, which was as mentioned in the gameplay deep dive and franchise deep dive. The coach mode has unique cameras dedicated to making it feel authentic and unique. That's that view from the sideline. And then you can also view, it's almost like a bird's eye / broadcast of like it's supposed to be from the booth. Quick presentation improvements. They made QOL improvements to quick presentation, where cameras now stay on the field when the play call UI appears instead of immediately cutting to other shots. It's meant to keep us closer to the action and preserve field awareness and stuff. Dynamic weather. All right. They're gonna keep talking about the what is that? The Patriots Broncos game last season during the playoffs. So basically, dynamic snow is here. It now supports dynamic accumulation and surface collision, helping it feel more like a real part of the field instead of just a visual layer. As the game progresses, snow can build and react in ways that make the environment feel more alive. So the field can look more different as the game goes on, and that matters because football in the snow should feel different from football under clear skies. Rain is dynamic too, right? Conditions can shift from heavy rain to light rain or from light rain to heavy rain. Sometimes that change can take a quarter. Sometimes it can start on the very next play. It just starts pouring. So, also, there's upgraded degradation. Players get dirty now. Snow can appear on uniforms. Sweat areas now get darker with saturation, and you'll see more dirt, grime, and wear show up across the player. The game will tell the story of what happened on the field throughout the game. So if you've been battling through a wet, muddy, snowy physical game, then your player should look like that. Dynamic lighting and local kickoff times. I'm still not sure if like there's dynamic. What is it like? The time is in Madden. They haven't necessarily said anything about that yet. All right, let's see. A 5:15 kickoff on the West Coast should not look like an East Coast game. The sun should sit differently. The shadows should feel different. This is facts. The East Coast exclusivity is gone. They added new sun positions and authentic local kickoff times so games can better reflect where they are actually being played. So now they look true to where they're at. They also support the broader improvements they're making in the skies and lighting. Whether you're playing in the afternoon under lights or during changing weather, the goal is to make each game feel more grounded in its place and movement. Okay. Yeah, I still have yet to see if there's like the dynamic time. Motion and emotion. All right. So for Madden 27, one of the visual pillars is secondary motion. That means taking motion to the next level by adding more of the small movements and physical details that help bring football closer to what you see on Sundays. And yes, hanging mouthpieces are now in the game. They're excited to finally bring these to the field with added physics and motion. Dangly mouthpieces now move with the swagger, speed, and momentum of the player. So they'll react as players move. Adds another layer of realism, right? And then they added more movement and tuning the helmets and pads. Helmets can now jiggle and move. And then they made a sleeve and pad size refactor to help better match what we see in NFL in real life. In the NFL in real life. Pad size, sleeve fit, equipment proportions are all part of how today's NFL players look. So they're continuing to refine them. Referees have secondary motion too. Get ready for flags to be thrown on your plays. Hell yeah. They brought machine learned wrinkle simulation with physics to officials through their... Wait, what the hell? Hold on. I gotta restart that. Let me lick my lips. Let me drink some water, bro. That was a crazy sentence. I don't know if it's because of how long I've been talking or what, bro. But jeez. All right, y'all ready? This year, we brought machine learn wrinkle simulation with physics to officials through our machine learning technology, right? So machine learn wrinkle simulation with physics, which is basically like the flags, to the officials through their machine learning tech. That means during pass interference, offsides, holding calls, and other moments where refs are part of the action, their uniforms can move more naturally with them. Okay, so it's uniforms, it's probably flags as well. We know you may not love every flag that hits the field, but when it happens, it's going to look better than ever. Secondary motion is here to bring more of what you see on Sundays into Madden. That's dope. Deluxe tradition reskins and stadium identity. Okay. NFL teams do not always present themselves the same way every week. Different uniforms can bring different energy, different stadium dressing, graphics, etc. This year, they're introducing more of that into Madden 27 through Deluxe Tradition reskins. So they allow stadium presentation to better match the look and feel of the team on the field. So when the Bucs are wearing their creamsicle look, you can see that identity reflected through the Bucko Bruce mascot and the creamsicle stadium loadout. You'll even see the creamsicle throwback ribbon board and Jumbotron animation packages. When the current Buccaneers look is in use, Captain Fear and the standard stadium loadout can represent that modern identity. And that's dope. I like that. More ways to express yourself. All right. Coach avatars. They added a bunch of new gear options. So we got hats, visors, and headsets. Hell yeah. Left ear, right ear, probably both ears. And we can equip new clothing items for tops and bottoms. That's good. Give our coaches a little more personality. For your superstar avatar, player visuals have hit a new level. 32 brand new player heads, including younger heads that better represent players coming into the combine from college. Oh, thank you. Jeez, bro. Them boys looked old as dirt, older than me. And I'm like, I'm not old, but like, damn, dog. Like, I'm pushing 30. Them boys, like, there was one face, the bald-headed black dude, bro, with the wrinkles. He looks like 40 something, bro, maybe older. It's crazy. So I'm glad that they added some new heads, especially after, bro. And then on top of that, I think it was last year or maybe the year before that. Like I don't know. They keep every now and then they'll touch the heads, like they'll touch them and they'll edit them in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and then they look completely different from what they used to look like, and then they don't even look like their portrait anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy because there's one face that looks literally like me in real life. Like I know they back when they had the EA game face thing. You know, if you're old enough to remember that, I believe they stopped that Madden 13. But the EA game face joint where you would take the pictures and then upload them on a computer to the EA website, it looked like that. Like literally, like my face was somewhere in the archives. And then I believe it was either last year or the year before that, they touched it. And it looks insane. It looks crazy. It looks terrible. It doesn't even look like the portrait. Like I don't know what they did to that dude. And And so I'm glad that they're adding younger looking guys. Because, yeah, once they changed it, that dude looked like he had 40 years brought to his face. They also added more variety across races, looks, and facial details. So that's good. So now they feel more personal and more believable. They brought over the lean body type from college football that they were in last year. So now there's 5 body types to choose from. Let's see. Better details across heads, faces, and body options for a better creative player. Continued adding highly requested equipment options like hanging mouthpieces, scrunch socks, shortened shooter sleeves that can combine with undershirts, clear reflective visors, small shoulder pads, and more. They've added a lot of new items and updates. Wait. Am I tweaking? Yeah, they said that already. See, that's what I'm talking about. They said that already. Okay. That's all right. I think they probably just needed because that just threw me all the way off. I think they probably just needed a little proofread. Their aim is to continue to bring more of these items as they continue driving excellence in the area as it's a main focus of theirs going forward. Okay, hell yeah. It's about giving us more control. That's what I'm talking about. New Highmark Stadium. Stadium authenticity remains one of the clearest ways to ground Madden in the real NFL, right? And one of the major venues focused on this year was the new Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, right? 62K people. Expect opening 2026. Stacked design, canopy system covering 60% of fan seating, video boards, all that good stuff. Hell yeah! So it's in the game. Melbourne Cricket Ground in Australia. Okay. Indoor field house practice facility. They're adding a new indoor field house practice facility. You can now you can practice your best bread and butter plays in a new practice venue built to give training a stronger sense of place. Actually, bro. Wait, huh? Whether you want to run a full 11-on-11 game, work with just the offense, test concepts, or get comfortable with your playbook, the new indoor practice facility gives you a fresh environment to do it. Wait. For one, let us choose. Please keep the old one on the outside end, and please let us choose. And then not only that, but let us be able to do in the preseason, or maybe right before the preseason stage, the practices with the other teams. That'd be fire. All right. What was I? Okay. Yeah, a full 11-on-11 game. I don't know if that means just regular practice or if you can actually like do that. That would be dope. New graphic settings options for PS5 Pro. Hell yeah. And Nintendo Switch 2, which I also have. Hell yeah. But I won't be buying Madden on that. That's like 3 copies, so I'm not doing that. We have a treat for you. This year, we're providing a new performance mode for you with updated frame rates. Visual Pro graphics ensures the highest possible visual quality. Performance Pro ensures the highest possible frame rate. For PS5 Pro, we can expect up to 100 plus FPS while in game. Sheesh, what the hell? Nah, they're going crazy. Year over year authenticity. Okay. Let's see. NFL honors. The gold NFL shield, including MVP and all that good stuff. The new first down arrow and pylon. The pylon has dynamics on it too, helping another piece of the field feel more physical and more alive. Okay. Just making sure that there's nothing in here that's necessarily like super relevant. Signature details. Focus on both the small and big things that make the NFL feel like the NFL. For our cover athlete, Kalen Williams, we knew we had to get his famous painted fingernails into the game as part of his swagger, personality, and style. Here's where I come in, right? Okay, so when this was debuted, and they put this on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, bro, there was so much crying going on online, dog. Like, and like they were really like crying, like moaning about it, and then just like, oh, you guys are supporting that, blah blah blah, bro. This is a Madden NFL game, right? We're looking for authenticity, right? right? You want the players to look like themselves, right? That's what I'm assuming. You'd want Caleb Williams to look like Caleb Williams. So with that being said, whether you agree with it or not, if bro paints his fingernails and decides to dye his hair, I don't know, green, should it not be in the game? Like, should he not look like himself? Like, bro, what are we talking about? From people who were crying about, was it Greg Olsen? I think it might have been Greg Olsen off the Panthers. He didn't have like a face scan or something like that for like hella long, and people were crying about it, bro. And then Caleb Williams gets an authentic scan, and they actually make him look like himself, right? And he's the cover athlete. So then they put the nails on him, right? And like, and mind you, these were some of the same people asking for chains, tattoos, shiesties, right? So they want the rest of these guys to look off. I don't get it, bro. The selective outrage is crazy. Like I'm not saying I like, condone. I mean, first of all, he's a grown man. He can paint his nails if he wants to. Whether I agree with it or not, that's got nothing to do with anything. Crying about something that's actually like legitimate is crazy to me, bro. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you don't like it, then you take it up with him. Don't cry about it to EA, bro. That's so stupid. Anyways, rant over. So, uniform authenticity is also a major part of making sure that Madden stays the most authentic experience you can find in football. We're on a roll with teams debuting new uniforms each year, and the new Tennessee Titans uniform will be able for you to try out in Madden 27. And yes, a red dangling mouthpiece would be a pretty nice touch with that look, don't you think? Well, there you have it. Commanders fans, we have a prize for you too. Jeez. We have a surprise for you too. Mouth getting dry, bro. Sheesh. The Washington Commanders new black on black uniforms. Black on black on black uniforms. Ooh. Are in Madden. The new W with the arrowhead logo, with the arrowhead on the logo, my bad, gives the look a strong identity. And we think this is going to become a go-to uniform for you Washington fans. NFL rivalry uniforms are back as well. We have partnered with the NFL to highlight 8 teams' new rivalry uniforms in Madden 27. Wait. There's 8 of them now? Or was there always 8? Are they the same 8 as they were last year, or are they different 8? We cannot show you these new uniforms just yet. Right, because the NFL has yet to unveil those. You will have to wait a little longer, but trust us, they look amazing and truly unique. We can't wait to see your reactions to these eye-catching, jaw-dropping uniforms. Hopefully the last year's ones are still in there, because the Cardinals ones were crazy. Those were fire. And so is the field. This is what year-over-year authenticity is about. It's the awards, uniforms, player details, the equipment, the field elements, and the style that keeps Madden connected to the NFL as it continues to evolve. A more authentic Madden NFL from startup to final whistle. Sheesh. Clap it up. Clap it up, bro. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. They cooked. They super cooked. They ultra cooked. Insane. Well, that is literally all of the deep dives that are covered for both college football and Madden. So let me know what you guys think, bro. If you did listen to this rambling and like a sort of breakdown, almost skim over / reaction / yapping / chatting. Let me know what your favorite edition is, actually. What mode you're gonna be playing and all that good stuff, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get back to working on this OSW Osiris. Go check that out too if you haven't. And yeah, man, appreciate y'all being here with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. We're gonna be we'll be streaming a little bit on Twitch, both college football when it comes out and Madden. Not a bunch, not as much as I want to, just because currently over there what we have going on, I'm trying to balance the Twitch and the YouTubes, because as you know, there's 3 channels and then there's the Twitch. We currently have on how many games can we beat before GTA 6 comes out, and we don't have much time left. I mean, we got like I don't know. We got a few months for sure, like 5 or 4 months or something like that. But yeah, man, we're trying to do that. So come on over, check us out. We're on game 3, God of War Ragnarok. We beat Detroit Become Human. That was the first game. God of War 2018 was the second game. God of War Ragnarok's the third game. And then the fourth game might be like a Fallout or something. I don't know. It'll be something good. I got games for days. Like the backlog's got 300 games in it. Anywhere from Crimson Desert, like new releases, to not as new releases like Elden Ring or Cyberpunk, to Red Dead and Red Dead 2. We might even play GTA 5 like right before GTA 6 comes out. All the Far Cries, well, Far Cry 3 through like 6 or whatever. The Star Wars series, all type of stuff, bro. Just pull up. That's it. Pull up. All right. It's been a pleasure. I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace.